everybody, and welcome back to my opera channel. If you don't know, my name's Avi, and on this channel you hear all about opera. What a surprise, since it's an opera channel. Today we are talking about the one and only Carmen. One of the most recognized operas out there. Everyone knows music from this, which thankfully in this video is brought to you by my friend Gary Rushton. All of his information is down below, so definitely go check him out once you finish this video. Unlike my other opera synopses, which have been very planned out and stuff, there was just so much information I wanted to put in this video that I'm going to try to go off script completely and give it to you in 10 minutes. Are we gonna be able to do it? Probably not. So I'm going to put on a timer and we're gonna see how far I can get in 10 minutes in the story. Backstory: Carmen was written in 1875 by Georges Bizet, and the libretto was by Halévy and Maliac too. Originally, it was a massive flop, and Bizet passed away with the shame of how horrible it went because it was so promiscuous and provocative for the time. But now, like we said before, it is one of the most popular ones out there. The story of a gypsy converting a good guy into the dark side, but he's not a good guy because he's a dragoon, which means that he did something bad in order to get to where he is. But without further ado, we are going into the opera. So hold on to your hats, hold on to your cups of tea, hold on to your opera glasses or your regular glasses or whatever, because here we go. Setting a timer. Let's see how far we get. Are you ready? Act 1. Outside of Seville, we have a tobacco factory where all these guards are sitting and waiting. But there's a woman who comes to the guards and says, "I'm sorry, I'm looking for Don Jose. Is he here?" This woman is Micaela, Don Jose's mother's adoptive daughter or something. Not very clear. But she has come with news from his mother, more like just a letter saying something. She meets up with the dragoons who are like, "Hey, you can come hang out with us. Wait for him here." But like I said before, they're not great guys. So she's smart enough and says, "You know what? I'm not gonna do that. I don't like you guys and I'm kind of scared. So I'm gonna run off and I'll come back later." She does that. There's the changing of the guards in the really famous children's chorus, and the guards change over. Jose then finds out the news that this girl was looking for him, this girl with like a blue dress and long braids in her hair, and he's like, "Oh, that's Micaela. Oh, I love her, she's so nice, she's so cute." But this new guard in town is like, "I want to see all these sexy ladies that everyone's talking about who work at this tobacco factory." Which was considered a very good job because they got paid very well. But on the other hand, it wasn't great conditions because it was really hot and sweaty down there. Hence why most of the time the women coming out of the tobacco factory are usually like half naked or half naked for the time. But the reason they would be so hot down there is so that they would sweat and could roll the tobacco on their thighs, creating the most annoying chub rub you can possibly imagine. And he's really excited to see them. So then all of the women emerge except for one specific one who's making the biggest grand entrance she can. And that is, yes, you guessed it, Carmen. I need to stop using my hands, sorry mama. That is Carmen. She is making a giant entrance trying to like seduce everyone. And that's cue famous aria. Everyone is looking at her except for one guy, which she doesn't like that idea. So she does everything she can to get, yes you guessed it, Don Jose to pay attention to her. If you love me, I don't love you, but if I love you, watch out because I'm coming for you. She then throws a flower directly at Don Jose's chest, hitting like right by his heart, kind of like Cupid. She's like, "Pew!" And he kind of like holds the flower and he's like, "Holy shit, that woman's something else. Wow." But while he's still contemplating how he feels about Carmen, who walks in but Micaela, saying, "Oh, I have news from your mother, and she also asked me to give you this something. It's a little awkward, but yes, what did she say to give me? What did she say to give me? Did my mommy give me something? Yeah. And well, okay, well, she asked me to give you this kiss." She then kisses him on the cheek, which is normal for a mother to do. But then Don Jose is like, "Oh my God, this has like made me imagine my whole life and everything, and oh, I miss my mother so much." And he turns to Micaela, who gives him a letter that his mother actually wrote to him, "And this please give to my mother." And he gives her the biggest kiss on the lips possible. Like, man, you have some interesting things to work out with your mom. little shocked. Micaela leaves him to read the letter that his mother wrote, and she goes off back to where she came, basically. At that moment, he reads the letter and is like, oh, mother, I'll do as you say, because the letter says that you should marry Micaela. So he's like, yeah, I'll do whatever my mom says, because she's my mom. Yeah, and as he's finishing reading that, he kisses the letter, puts it in his pocket, and there's a giant yelling and screaming coming from the factory because a fight has broken out. The fight has been between two women. One, yes, you guessed it, is Carmen. Everyone runs out. It's like, Carmen did it! She killed her! No, she didn't kill her. Sorry, I exaggerated. This 10 minutes thing. Carmen did it. It's all her fault. And this other one comes out with like a giant slash on her face. So they arrest Carmen, who is a little like, you guys are not sending me to prison. That's just not gonna happen. But she doesn't say anything. She's just like, la 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 la. I forgot the tune, but we don't have time. We have 10 minutes. But Carmen won't say anything, and they have her tied up. But she and Don Jose are alone in prison now because he's told to look after her to make sure she doesn't do anything else. But she kind of starts to convince him that he loves her and that they're gonna run away together. And Don Jose is like, oh really? We are? We are? No, don't talk to me, witch. Don't. I know your plan. And by the end, she actually gets him to help her escape. Says she will meet him very, very soon in La Pastia outside of Seville. And they're gonna have a nice time together. But as the other officers come back to transport her, she tells them quickly, I am going to push you and you are going to fall. And she does. And leaves him out there in the dust to deal with everything on his own. And she runs off into the sunset, basically by herself. End of Act 1. That took most of the 10 minutes. All right, moving on. Act 2. It is about a month later or two, not sure, different versions say different things, but it should be a month later. Everyone is at this tavern that Carmen said she would meet Don Jose at, and yes, some of the people there are actually the people that arrested Carmen, which really confuses me, because if they arrested her, why are they still in the same place? Did she do them any favors? I'm a little confused. The lead officer, who thought everyone was really sexy at the beginning, is there, and he's like, Carmen, you owe me a favor? She's like, no I don't. Go away. But he reminds her that a certain soldier is coming out of prison today, and she's like, oh great, and she seems actually really excited to see Don Jose again. This beautiful, handsome, and superstar Escamillo, who is the like lead bullfighter of the time, has come to the same tavern, and he like falls in love with Carmen. He's like, wow, you're so fit, and I would love to know your name so that I know who is entrapping me in this feeling, because I've never felt this before. She's like, my name's Carmen. And he's like, Carmen, what if someone told you that they loved you, what would you say? She says, I would tell them not to love me. And then we get an interruption by our lieutenant again, who's just like, wait, I'm right here. Love me. Carmen, at this point, is actually being recruited by two of these guys with her two besties, Mercedes and Fresquita, to help them actually smuggle, that's the word, smuggle goods to another place. But Carmen's like, I can't go. I'm in love with this guy who just finished prison for me, and I have to wait for him. And they're like, just try to recruit him. She goes, I don't think he'll go for it. Just try anyway. As they say this, they start hearing Don Jose, because it's opera and theater and that's how timing works. No one has to wait for anything. They start seeing him coming up, and the girls are like, oh, he is cute. I see what you're talking about. Then they go and leave Carmen alone to try and, convince him to join. She then does that dance that she promised him back before he let her go. As she is dancing for him and trying to convince him to stay, he hears the bugles calling everyone back into the brigades because he is actually still a soldier. And she's like, wait, you're actually gonna leave now? You just got here. What the foul stuff? Like, stay. And he's like, no, I gotta go. But at that moment, the officer or corporal, or the lead guy, the lieutenant, who tried to get Carmen to do him a favor earlier, comes back and is like, hey, I'm back for my favor. Great. Surprise, surprise, he sees his officer there and he's like, hey, Don Jose, what the foul stuff are you doing here? They kind of like, well, now I'm not gonna leave. You think you can come and take what's mine? And the corporal's like, yeah. They fight whose horse is bigger than whose, and then Don Jose is like, all right, I'm not leaving. I'm staying right here. Zunga leaves. He's like, I'm out. And the lieutenant. And Carmen's like, really? You're gonna stay? And he's like, well, kinda don't have a choice anymore. She's like, I think you're going to love it. Or grow to like it. End of Act 2. You know what I'm very confused about is the fact that Carmen and Jose have literally spent 3 hours together, max, and suddenly now they're ready to run off together. That's just, it's a recipe for something. Don't know if it's a good something, but it's a recipe for something. Act 3. Now here we are, and it's a couple months later, and we're still smuggling the same goods that we were before. To mention, Carmen can't stand Jose anymore. She's like, just go away. But Jose is taking till death do us part a little too literally. Like, they're not married, but he is for the to death do us part. You ruined my life, now you're stuck with me. And as they're stopping to rest for a little bit, Carmen and Fresquita and Mercedes are all playing cards. They're trying to like read each other's tarot cards, because if we forgot, they are gypsies. Mercedes and Fresquita keep pulling up like positive things like, oh, we're gonna marry rich guys, and oh, we're gonna find this, and oh, it's gonna be great. Whereas Carmen just keeps pulling up death. It's like, thanks party pooper, that's all we wanted. But also I think that's why people don't like getting their tarot cards read. The guys come back to plan the rest of the smuggling events, where they're like, okay girls, you're gonna go and like be promiscuous and sexy and like use your female powers to entrap the guys. And Jose's like, no, I don't like this idea. I don't like this idea. They then continue on to the rest of the smuggling affairs, but they leave Jose to keep watch. Micaela arrives and she's just like, oh, looking for Jose. And she has some really, really sad news to give him. But she is shocked to find him standing there with a rifle, which I'm a little shocked at because he is a soldier, but she's shocked to find him standing there with a rifle. Don Jose then shoots at something and Mercedes runs really quickly behind a rock. Out of the rocks, holding his hat and being also smug, is Escamillo. Escamillo is come to find Carmen, who he fell in love with. Then he's there and he's like, oh, Carmen, I love this woman. But the person he's mentioning this to is Carmen's boyfriend. It's like, oh, she's dating this guy now, but from what I understand, it's pretty much over. Now, I think this is the first time Jose is hearing about it because he is not as pleased. He then explains that he's gonna have to fight for her, and the only way he's going to be able to fight for her is over swords. Escamillo then realizes who he's speaking to. He's like, oh, sorry man, right. They have a little knife fight, which is stopped just on time right before Jose is about to stab Escamillo, and all of the other smugglers come back and are like, guys, it's stop. Then Carmen notices that Micaela is behind the rocks, and she says, hey, who's that? Jose's like, oh my god, Micaela, what are you doing here? Leave. She's like, no, I had to tell you something. And then Carmen jumps in and is like, no, just leave with her, just go. No one needs to hear what she has to say, just leave. And he's like, no, I'm not leaving you. I told you the only way we're leaving each other is death. And Carmen's not happy about this. She goes, just go. And he's like, what? So you can stay with your new boyfriend? And Micaela's like, can you both shut up? I actually have something to say. And that is that, Jose, your mother's about to die. You're gonna have to come with me now because she wants to say goodbye to you before she dies. And he goes, oh, and remember, he has a very interesting relationship with his mother. So then he leaves with her, but he then turns to Carmen and says, Carmen, this will not be our last conversation. You watch out. End of Act 3. Act 4, I know this is not 10 minutes, but Act 4. We are back in Seville and everyone's really excited, and there's like this huge march because Escamillo, remember him, our bullfighter rock star, is about to go out to the bullpen, and there's a giant parade and everyone's saying toreadore, ta 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 ta. At the end of this parade are Carmen and Escamillo, and they're all being all lovey-dovey and very much in the honeymoon phase and like really excited to be together. Mercedes and Fresquita notice that Don Jose is actually in the crowd, and they warn Carmen, be careful because he looks like he's out to get you. She's like, oh, I got this, it's all fine, you guys can go. Don Jose and Carmen finally have their last moments together. Don Jose, Camille's like, you better come with me now. And she's like, no, I'm not going with you. This is over, it's done, we're done. And he's all like, no, we're not done. I didn't say that, you said that, I disagree. Why, do you love someone else? And she's like, just leave me alone, I don't want to be with you anymore. And he's like, no, who do you love? Who do you love? Do you not love me? And at the end, she's like, no, I don't love you anymore. Here, take this ring that you gave me. I don't want it. She throws the ring at him, and at that moment, Don Jose takes a knife and stabs her, obviously to death, because there's only one kind of stabbing in opera, and she dies. At that moment, Escamillo has just won the battle against the bull in the pit, and everyone comes rushing out. We're so happy he won! To find that Don Jose is over Carmen's body, crying, oh, my Carmen! What have I done? Arrest me! I killed her, which would have been a much better ending to a certain something which I'm not going to mention just in case anyone hasn't seen it yet, but would have made more sense to do that than the way they ended it. Just had to put that rant in somewhere. The end? Okay, alright. I hope that was everything. I probably missed a few things out because I needed to get as much into this video as possible. And I also tried to film this 4 different times. You can ask Gary, because he's been waiting for this video for a while. That's all, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little video. And thank you so much, Gary, for making the music. You deserve all the round of applause because I drove you crazy. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me know what is the next synopsis you would like me to do. I think the next one is going to be actually the magic flute. In the meantime, have a great week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that little notification bell so you can be notified when I make a new video, which is every single Monday, other than the Mondays that I forget are actually Mondays. In the meantime, have a great week. Drink lots and lots of warm tea, not tea that has gone cold. Oh, it's finished. And go see an opera. Use the hashtag Diva Studies, and I will find you. Yeah. All right. Okay. Bye. Love you all. There's like one little sip left there, and that was very cold. But ow! Does anyone else hurt when they sneeze? I feel like something's wrong with me. What is his name? Don Jose. We forgot to mention him before. Oh, what's happening now? What's happening now? Oh, yes. Cool.